I have a saying that there's no such thing as a bad agency client. There's only a bad prospect or a bad process. And you have to have a better qualification process to look for the red flags.
So let's do it over again, Jason. So tell us a little bit about your story about becoming an agency, accidental agency owner.
Yeah, one of my friends looked like Justin Timberlake from NSYNC back in the 90s and created a fake band, fake website called 𝗟𝗘𝗔𝗥𝗡. It got popular, and then people started asking me for websites, and literally just started doing $500 websites all the way to $1 million engagements. By the time 12 years passed, and then we were acquired. And my journey of what I thought in the agency world was over, but I was depressed. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I started looking back when my old competitors started reaching out. It was like, hey, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? And I just realized there was a pattern, there was a system, there was a framework in order to, kind of grow a lot faster.
Right. And can you tell us a little bit about what is that pattern, Jason?
Yeah. So I remember it was maybe in year 8, we were a couple million in revenue. And I remember just being so depressed. And I was like, I hate doing what I'm doing. And my wife was like, why don't you go get a job? And I thought I was like, okay. But then I thought it was like, that might be the ultimate failure. But I took a couple of interviews. I actually interviewed with a Nascar, which at the time I race cars. And so I thought that was pretty cool. And they asked me 2 questions. They said, what do you want to do every day? What don't you never want to do ever again? And I remember going home that night, and I took a sheet of paper out, and I literally drew like a circle about as big as my fist, right? And everything outside that circle, I wrote down all the stuff I don't want to do. Everything inside that circle, I wrote what I wanted to do. So it gave me clarity. So I was like, oh, I don't want to work with clients anymore. I don't want to project manage. I don't want to do all the sales. I don't want to, blah, 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 right? But I do love the creative process. I do love adding color. I do love creating the vision of the agency. And so I was able to define my role of what I needed it to be in order to be the CEO versus the owner. So I had that clarity. And so if you go back to like your origin story, right? You were accidental. I was accidental. Most people were. We kind of skip ahead and we always think about prospecting and getting more business, but we really don't have that foundation. And really, clarity is really that first system. Like, who do we want to go after? What do we want to do? What are the core values that I believe in so I can actually surround my team with it? What's the vision of where we're going so I can actually not be the toll booth owner for the agency, right? Like, think back when you first started doing your agency and you had people, everybody was probably coming to you for every decision. And everything had to flow through you because you never gave them the ammo of where you wanted to go. So they were making decisions what's better for themselves rather than the agency.
Yeah, I think I still have a little bit of that going on for sure. It's something that you try to handle naturally, but I still get a lot of people coming from me to make decisions on this and this or that. And I kind of like believe that that's my role as a leader, just to keep on guiding people along the way. Now, I have a question, Jason. This is something that along the way I was advised to focus on by different people, and I never listened to this advice because I wanted to go down my own road. A lot of people told me, you got to niche down, you got to focus on delivering to a dentist, or delivering to a chiro, or delivering to an e-commerce, and or health, or don't do anything else because otherwise you're not going to be able to scale. I was lucky. Now I'm not a regular guy. I'm trying to solve that. Okay. Well, I'm not a regular guy on I'm very intense, passionate, and very strong and dedicated. So I don't know if this is applicable to everybody, but I did not niche down. I went all over the place. I opened up marketing to anybody that wanted attention. I called my business attention grabbing media, AGM marketing, because I said, oh, you need attention? Then we can help you. No matter, but I'm a musician. We can help you. I am a health expert. Oh, I can help you. I need leads for a software. We can help you. So I have failed a lot of times with a lot of these accounts because it would be a great dream to tell you that I have succeeded 100% of the time with clients. That's not real. I did start like that, Jason. I used to hallucinate, and my initial pitches with clients used to be, I've never been fired. Well, I cannot tell that story anymore. I've been fired many times along the way. But I was proud that I was lucky enough that the first few clients that I had already the foundation for me to be able to help them become successful. And then I was proven wrong really, really fast that most clients are not going to be set up for success right away. So what is your take on the niching down and finding an area to service people?
Yeah, when you first start out, I look at it as like a Vegas buffet, right? Or any huge buffet. You got to try out everything, because what you'll figure out is you'll be like, all right, because when you're starting out, you don't know what you're good at, you don't know what you're bad at, you don't know what clients are which, or which niche you actually know better. And so you have to kind of start defining that. Now, when you're niching down, you can do it based on a vertical or a horizontal, right? So we did it on a particular solution at first, and then we started going to the vertical, or when both of them met, right? So a vertical would be an industry focused that most people do, like dentists or HVAC or manufacturing or whatever it is. And then a horizontal is made, maybe like on, AR. You really can't do a horizontal anymore, I don't feel like, in something very broad like a WordPress, because there's just too many, right? Because there's so many agencies out there now, everybody looks the same. And so it's hard to differentiate. And everybody looks at the bigger agencies and they go, well, they're doing, they look at the VaynerMedia, or they look at you and they see, they're doing everything. But they didn't look at where they actually started. So if you look at Facebook, Facebook didn't start going after everybody, and they couldn't compete with MySpace in the very beginning. They could only say, all right, let's go after Harvard students and then Ivy League students, and then just kept growing from there. And so it just takes time. There's no course out there that will tell you what's the most profitable niches. You just have to decide. And there's no one out there that can tell you what's the perfect niche. There's only people that can kind of guide you. And you have to look at, like, what do you have knowledge in? What do you have passion in? And then just, what do you have expertise in, or possible expertise in? And then make that decision later on.
Right. And what would you say? Okay, that makes sense. So it's basically you have to go based on what you feel and what you love. Because what would you say of somebody that doesn't really love the world of, like, servicing people? Because it's not, you got to understand that point about running an agency, right? Like, you're actually being somebody else's employee. You're running their marketing, or you're doing a service to them. So sometimes people are not easy. Now, you get lucky sometimes. I have some clients that are so incredible to work with, that I've been with them for years now. And there's a lot of, like, respect back and forth. And you develop those relationships. Like, I have one of the great health experts in our social media world, Dr. Eric Berg. This guy he's incredible. And he sees me as an equal. So we help each other out. So he pays us a lot of money. We have been able to help him grow along the way. And he's really good at what he does. But we have a great relationship in which we support each other, and we give each other help along the way. But most of the time, in all honesty, most of the time it's not like that. And they are demanding, and they expect things, and they can treat you like us entrepreneurs. Jason, you and I are business owners ourselves. How do you get through that as an agency owner, that you're getting all these people requesting things from you and treating you as an employee, and sometimes even disrespecting to an extent?
Well, I get rid of those people, right? Like, I have a saying that there's no such thing as a bad agency client. There's only a bad prospect or a bad process. And you have to have a better qualification process to look for the red flags. So when you first start talking with a prospect, you're training them, or they're training you. And so if they're not following your process, or if they're not respecting you in the very beginning, they're gone. I'll be like, hey, go to so-and-so. So you have to really kind of look at that. But I really think a lot of times it's about positioning. I think a lot of people position themselves in the wrong way. They position themselves as, like you were saying, like the client is, demanding and giving you orders. Well, that means you're a Me Too agency, right? Or you haven't trained that client yet.
What's a Me Too agency, Jason?
Me Too agency is like every other agency out there. They're just taking orders versus if you guys are positioning yourself as the advisors, right? So think of like a story, like let's say Batman. So if you make yourself Batman, you're going to make your client Robin, and no one wants that, right? Because they're not equal. Like Batman, is whatever. But if you actually position yourself as Alfred, that trusted advisor, right? Like Batman is the hero, right? Then, that hero actually has a problem and they want something, but the whole focus is on them. So if you can position yourself as an advisor, so when they have a problem, they actually come to you to solve it versus, hey, go do this website, go do this post for me.
Just taking orders, right? Instead of just taking orders from people.
Exactly. I rather than come to me and say.
Yeah, I like to tell people, Jason, that that when they come to us, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this, I tell them, look, you're bringing in a marketing doctor. We're here to give you guidance. If you're sick and if you have a problem with your body, you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you what to do. Do you question what the doctor tells you? If you trust the doctor, if he's somebody of trust that has earned your trust along the way, do you question it or do you do what the doctor tells you? Well, the same thing is with us. Like as an account manager, as an agency owner, you're a client, you're trusting us to become your marketing doctor. So we are here to direct you. If you're not willing to let us direct you and run the show, then let's shake hands, let's not go forward, right?
Yeah, exactly. And, that's a great analogy. And let's take it a step further. A lot of agencies are the marketing doctor, but they're also the marketing nurse, the marketer, the marketing order taker. So when someone comes to the doctor's office, the doctor actually greets them. The doctor actually takes them back, gives them blood pressure and all this. And then you start losing credibility for that marketing doctor because you're like, why can't you just hire people to do this? Shouldn't you be doing the really cool stuff? So, that's what I always tell everybody is like, it's always you're building trust and you have to position yourself as that advisor that they're going to listen to.
Right.